Liverpool is on fire this season, dominating European football, sitting 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table with the game in hand, and their fans are dreaming of another league title. Experts are backing Liverpool to win the title this season. The Opta supercomputer gives them an 88.9% probability of clinching the Premier League crown. But here's the catch. There are cracks beneath the surface. History tells us a very different story. From historical curses to current challenges, there are compelling reasons why Liverpool might not win the Premier League this season. Stick around as we dive into 5 reasons that even the most passionate fans can't ignore. The last one is backed by undeniable statistics. Before I get started, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the next goal story. Now, let's dive in. We'll start with the elephant in the room, Jurgen Klopp's departure. After 9 incredible years of passion, trophies, and unforgettable moments, Klopp left Liverpool last year. But what happens when a legendary manager steps down? History gives us some clear and worrying answers. Take Sir Alex Ferguson, for example. After leading Manchester United to an incredible 13 Premier League titles, his departure in 2013 sent the club into a tailspin. In the decade since, United has cycled through 6 managers and failed to win another league title, securing only 4 top 4 finishes, despite spending over £1 billion on transfers. Arsene Wenger's exit from Arsenal is another cautionary tale. In the 5 seasons following his 22-year tenure, Arsenal managed only 2 top 4 Premier League finishes, and failed to qualify for the Champions League from 2017 to 2022, despite spending over £500 million in transfers. Arsenal needed years of rebuilding to return to being title challengers. A similar story with David Moyes at Everton from March 2002 to May of 2013, a tenure spanning over 11 years. During this period, he achieved top 8 finishes in 9 of his 11 full seasons, including a 4th place finish in the 2004-05 season, which earned Everton a spot in the UEFA Champions League. After his departure, the club has struggled, cycling through managers like Ronald Koeman, Marco Silva, and Carlo Ancelotti, and currently battling to keep themselves in the Premier League. You see where we're going with this. Klopp's impact extended far beyond tactics. He fundamentally transformed the culture of the club. Replacing someone of his stature is never easy, and it may take time for the club to return to winning titles. While Arne Slot has made an impressive start to life in the Premier League, the question remains, can Liverpool defy the historic struggles that often haunt clubs following the departure of a legendary manager? That brings us to another major concern, injury woes waiting to strike. Liverpool's squad has been fortunate not to pick up nasty injuries to their key players this season. However, injuries are always lurking, ready to derail even the best teams. And when you look at Liverpool's history, you'll see how devastating injuries can be. Let's go back to the 2020-21 season, a year many Liverpool fans would rather forget. Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Joel Matip all suffered season-ending injuries, forcing Liverpool to rely on inexperienced academy players in defense. What happened? The team went from title contenders to desperately clawing for a top 4 finish. Liverpool's win percentage dropped from 84% the previous season to 52%, and goals conceded increased from 0.87 to 1.10 per game. Injuries to key players have a way of derailing even the best team seasons. If you doubt me, just ask Pep Guardiola about the hole Rodri's absence left in Manchester City's midfield, or Mikel Arteta, who has felt the ripple effects of Martin Odegaard's injury on Arsenal's creativity and momentum. Losing key players like these often expose the cracks that no tactical adjustment can fully cover. This season, key players like Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Ryan Gravenberch have been lucky to stay injury-free. But can they last through the grueling second half of the season? With the physical demands of the Premier League, Champions League, and domestic cup competitions, Liverpool is walking a fine line. A single injury to a key player like Salah or Van Dijk could be catastrophic for their title hopes. Next on the list is Liverpool's unsustainable form. Yes, they've been sensational. They're firing on all cylinders, scoring goals for fun. They've lost 1 out of 19 Premier League games. They've won all 6 games in the Champions League, comfortably beating giants like Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and AC Milan. But here's the thing, it's nearly impossible to sustain this level of performance across an entire season, especially in the Premier League. Every team goes through a dip in form. It's almost inevitable. The bad news for Liverpool is that Arsenal, their closest rival, has already endured their dip in form earlier this season. This means they could be poised for another strong run of victories in the second half of the campaign, much like they achieved last year. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta recently highlighted how tough it is to maintain such high-level performances throughout the season. He remarked, "We've been there, and to sustain it for 10 months is extremely difficult. Everything has to go your way, and sadly, when you think you have it, one day it collapses." Speaking from experience there now, Arteta. Remember, Arsenal started the 2022-23 campaign in electrifying form, dominating the Premier League with confidence and flair. By Christmas, they were top of the table with a 7-point lead over Manchester City. However, as the season wore on, cracks began to appear, and their form crumbled under the pressure. In the final stretch, Arsenal dropped crucial points, managing just 9 wins in their last 19 games, which earned them the infamous title of Bottle Jobs FC. Manchester City capitalized, overtaking Arsenal to clinch the title with the remarkable late season surge. Arteta knows it's a marathon, not a sprint. The Premier League is unforgiving. Teams will study Slot's strengths and weaknesses, adapting tactics to counter them. With 4 competitions to juggle, fatigue will inevitably set in. Liverpool's fast start might just burn out before the finish line. Speaking of competitions, let's talk about the quadruple bid. Liverpool's ambition to win on all 4 fronts: the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. While this ambition is admirable, history tells us a quadruple bid is incredibly draining and almost impossible to achieve. No team in the top 5 major European leagues have won the true quadruple. Even Manchester City at their pomp, with incredible depth and quality, couldn't win all 4 competitions. Liverpool have come agonizingly close in the 2021-22 season, but fell short in the Premier League and the Champions League final. Competing on so many fronts is a grueling task that tests both physical and mental limits. With relentless fixtures across all 4 competitions, tired legs inevitably set in, increasing the risk of injuries. The mental pressure to win every game can lead to lapses in form and focus, especially during the season's critical moments. Fatigue often leaves teams vulnerable to unexpected defeats, as even the deepest squad struggles to maintain intensity. Ultimately, it can quickly derail a promising campaign. With the title race getting more intense than ever, can Liverpool afford to spread themselves so thin? This brings us to the last worrying reason: Liverpool's Christmas table curse. Being top of the table at Christmas has traditionally been a strong predictor of who will lift the trophy at the end of the season. However, recent trends suggest otherwise. In the past 6 seasons, only 2 teams leading at Christmas have managed to secure the title. Liverpool's record when they're top of the table at Christmas is a stat that even diehard Liverpool fans can't ignore. Statistically, the odds are stacked against them. Throughout their history, Liverpool have been top of the table at Christmas on 21 occasions, but they've only managed to convert that into a league title 11 times. You would say that's not bad, right? Well, in the Premier League era, the stats are even more damning. Liverpool have topped the table at Christmas 7 times, but have secured the title just once in the previous 6 times, resulting in a success rate of only 16.67%. Let's look at recent examples. In 2008-09, Liverpool topped the Christmas table, but finished second to Manchester United. In 2018-19, they led again, but lost the title to Manchester City by a single point. This season marks their 7th time in first place at Christmas during the Premier League era, but history suggests they might not finish there come May.